Chairman Dudenheffer, Supervisor Stimson, Bill Day, Sterling, Sheriff Jett, Chief Brown, members of the Stafford County Sheriff's Department, members of the Stafford Department of Fire and Rescue, friends, family, and loved ones. It truly is an honor and a privilege to be here with you today as we remember September 11th, 2001, a day that's indelibly etched in our hearts and minds. Just as Chairman Dudenheffer said, everyone here remembers distinctly where they were that day as those events unfolded. We remember the range of emotions. I remember first being fearful, being anxious, then being angry, and then being concerned. And many of those emotions are still with us today as we take this time to remember. And there are also images of that day, too, that are important to keep in mind, not just the images of the disaster that occurred that day, but the images of human spirit, the images of those folks that were truly heroes, the images of folks that ran into the Pentagon to help out their co-workers, those first responders that went in to help, those first responders that went into the burning towers to rescue folks, those folks inside the towers, many there trying to help folks get out, some that weren't able to get out. Many, many multiple acts of heroism that day. Flight 93 that turned around was coming back to Washington. A group of heroes on board there. Probably the most famous, an individual, Todd Beamer, was on the phone with his wife telling her what was going on, then got with fellow passengers on that plane and decided that they were going to take action. They were not going to let terrorists inflict more harm in the United States. And they got together, and through that heroic act, that plane never made it to Washington. It unfortunately crashed there in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. But it is indeed a tribute to the heroes on board. Their heroic act, saved lives in this region. And as we all watched the day's events unfold, all of us were very anxious. Being this close to Washington, we were wondering what was going to happen next. What was happening to our nation? Where were we going from there? And I think that day really brought out the best of the human spirit here in the United States. As I said, we saw first responders that put their lives on the line to help others. We saw the response of folks throughout this country come to the aid of their neighbors, and we saw the concern that they had. And subsequent to that, we have now seen a whole generation that has been motivated by that day, motivated to serve as first responders, to serve in law enforcement, to serve this nation in our military. And I can tell you, as I have the chance to travel around to our military installations and around the world, and I talk to our members of the military, almost to a person, the folks serving today were motivated by the events of September 11, 2001. These are brave men and women who put their lives on the line every day, many of them downrange in harm's way, thousands of them who have given their lives for this nation, tens of thousands who have given of themselves, who have been injured in combat, defending the freedoms and liberties that we so enjoy and that we so treasure. Those are true heroes, in addition to those that serve here in the homeland, those that serve as first responders, those that put themselves in harm's way, those that make sure that we do everything we can to prevent another event like September 11th. But if an event does occur, that they are ready again to serve, ready to go in harm's way to help those in their hour of need. So as we take today to remember, as we are 10 years later, there is much that we have learned from that event. But one thing that still rings with us is the sacrifice of folks that served on that day, those folks that perished in that terrible act of terrorism, in that true day of sadness for this nation. But I always believe that there is a positive that comes out of that, and those lives were not preceded in vain. They were actually a motivating force for this nation, a day where we came together, a day where many were motivated to serve in many capacities in the days after that event. And for that, this nation is grateful. But we should never forget those that have served, those that perished that day, those that gave their lives in rescue efforts that day, those that have subsequently given their lives to defend this nation and put themselves in harm's way, to make sure we do everything we can to guarantee that another act like that will never occur on our shores again, and that we pursue terrorists wherever they may exist across the face of this earth. So folks, thanks again so much for taking your time today in remembrance and in honor of those that perished, in honor of those that have served, in honor of those that have given their lives in service to this nation, in service to our community, and in service to our state. And again, I want to thank you. May God bless each and every one of you. May God bless the Commonwealth of Virginia, and may God bless the United States of America.